Hi and welcome to all the NEET PG aspirants. So this video is primarily for students who are going to give their exam of NEET PG on 15th of June 2025. So today is 2nd of May. So you have approximately 44-45 days. So in this video I'm going to guide you what you should do during your 45 days and what you should not do. So based on my experience, I have jotted out some 7 points for the easiness of the video for me to deliver whatever I have to guide you. So the first point is that at this part of your stage of your preparation, you should get an idea or status of your preparation. So have you completed all the 19 subjects? Have you gone through them at least once? You are during your revision preparation, or you are still about to cover the subjects. The other part is that you should understand that once you are 1.5 month before your exam, you are almost acquired with concepts, the part of concepts. So for you to learn during this 1.5 months for the concept is less of a scope. So whatever you know about the concepts, they are going to be retained till the day of exam. So you should not worry about the concepts part. The other part goes is factual parts. So some of them you might have developed the conceptual the factual part. Some of the part you are still finding it difficult to retain in your mind. The other thing is new points which will come and go. A lot of new updates come, trials, new drugs and all. So that you will try to optimize as much as possible, but not go towards that new points. So that is the main aim of the video. So the first and most important point I feel during these 45 days is a positive mindset. So I remember a lot of my batchmates. So you have to understand that if you have a preparation which usually can fetch you around 5000 rank, so if you have a very positive mindset, you can go towards a 1000 or a 2000 rank also. But if you somehow go in a negative or a depressing mindset during these 1.5 months, you might jump back to 8000, 10,000 rank. So how do you make a positive mindset is that you usually should have a good company of your friends, your colleagues, your partner, who usually during these 1.5 months is going to promote you, is going to keep you into that pace, saying that you have worked very hard for these days, you have sacrificed a lot of things for this period of time, and you just have to go through this 1.5 month. So you want people around you to motivate you, and vice versa. So you motivate your best friends or colleagues who are studying along with you in the library. They motivate you, they lift you up in your low points, you lift them up in their low points, saying that okay, you are just 1.5 month left for the exam. We have to maintain that pace so that we do not lose whatever we have worked so hard for. So you have to understand that you have to keep that point into your mind, that you are working hard since the last 1.5 year or 1 year for this point. So you have to keep a very positive mindset, which will help you jump your rank from 5000 to 1000, or if you or even more higher. So the second point is that you schedule your day in a different way now. Now you might be studying around 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours till then. Now doing that same in the last 1.5 month is going to be difficult, because the stress level will be high, you will be more anxious, you will have more and more notification of the exam, people will be thinking about you, you will get your GT scores, a lot of things will be in the positive part, like you are getting good GT scores, you don't have a lot of stress about your internship, you don't have a lot of stress about your work, or some things might not go, but then you have to understand that it is not possible also due to the stress to study 14-15 hours a day. So now for example, if I start studying, if I'm studying the for today, so if you keep in mind that I am going to study 3 hours in a stretch, it is going to be difficult as compared to before. So I suggest that you study for 1 hour, take 10-15 minutes of break, small breaks, some tea coffee breaks. Apart from that, you find your own way of relaxation. You can listen music and you can break your sessions. If you try to make a big stretch of a session, you are definitely going to be mentally exhausted and you will find difficult. A lot of my juniors, even I was, during when I had 2 or 3 postponements of the exam, it was very difficult for me to concentrate on all those things. You find it very boring during the end. So you have to maintain your schedule in such a way that you study 1 and a half hour and then you take 15 minutes break. And the other thing when you study is that you study in different manners. For example, I'm reading the marrow revision notes, but I feel now that now I'm reading medicine, so it is getting very bored. So instead of not doing anything, you should change the subject, or instead of changing the subject, you can change the way of how you read it. You can either, if you have done some other course and you find that those notes were slightly attractive, if you find that you can read it from a visual way by watching videos of MCQ discussion. So I recommend that you change your mode of learning, you change your mode of reading, so that you don't get bored during this hectic and anxious period of 45 days, and you maintain that pace and you maintain the amount of time you are reading for a day. So that was second point. And if you I highly recommend that you take a day off if you feel very exhausted. And apart from that, in a day I recommend that you take 1 hour or 45 minutes of exercise. Either you can go for a run, you can go for a walk, not necessary to go for a gym, but or yoga or meditation, whatever is very comfortable with you. The third and most important point is that at this stage you should be focusing on rapid revision. So if I'm planning for a rapid revision of a month or 30 days, if I plan biochemistry for a day or two, FMT for a day or two, I should have those notes ready and I should know what I'm reading. People already have, if they have notes for DVT, BTR, you should keep in mind that those notes are for 7 day, 3 day, 4 day. You can revise them during this period also, but focus mainly on whatever was your core source of reading. For example, marrow notes. So whatever you have read for the first second time, now you have to read that in a way that you are going to read only those important points which you have marked during that time. And during the same time, what I did was, when I solved my Q banks, I made some short extract of those Q banks important points. So this is the time when you read them. I have during my GTs which I have solved during the initial 6-7 months, I have noted all those important points. So this is again this is the time when you read those. And this is the time when you make a 20th book. For example, I have done for my NEET SS also. So I made a single book for chromosome mutations, genetic mutations. For example, APC for your FAP or your NF1-2 gene genetic mutation, and what are the genes. So this is the time when you invest time to make your book, where you write chromosomes, your inheritance patterns, formulas, your trials and all, which you find it very difficult to recollect or retain. So that in the last 7 days you are going to read them. The other thing is, avoid to start something new. It is not a very good time to start something new, like you start a new type of new course videos. So it is not the time, because you want to retain the 70-80% part of what you have read, and you are not into that mindset to gain more, because you will definitely find difficulties to retain whatever you have read new during this time. So the fifth point is GT frequency. So I tell a lot of people, I've observed this, that in the last 1 month you find difficult to read from your books. So this is the phase where you find your mistakes. So for example, you are scoring 60% of what at this present. Now you have to go to that 70%, 75%. So you have to find mistakes. So the best way to find mistakes are your grand tests, your subject wise tests. Now how many grand tests should you give? I feel that during your last month you should give at least 2 grand tests. So when you give those grand tests, you get an idea. For example, you are very poor at FMT. For example, there were 7 questions, you had only 1 or 2 right, and you find that the subject was very difficult. So I feel that what you should do is, either you can take a day or so and read FMT nicely, and the other part what you can do is, you can take 1 or 2 subject wise tests, so that you get areas where you are very bad at. So do subject wise test only when you are very poor at that subjects, or else 2 grand tests minimum. Now when you do grand test, you have to keep one thing in mind. So if your primary source is marrow, I still recommend that you give test of other platforms like DAMS or Bhatia or PrepLadder, or any other platform which is providing you at least a free test you should give. So at least you should give one grand test of that other platform, so that you get a variety of papers. So some papers are very conceptual, very clinical. Some papers have a good amount of actual questions. All of them are important. Your paper is going to be unpredictable, but your mind should be prepared for each and other type of the paper which can come. 70% conceptual, 30% factual, 70% factual, 30% conceptual. So you should not be surprised by the exam pattern or the paper. You have to be very much prepared. One step that you are not going to be surprised, you are anticipating it, and you know things, so it will be very smooth when you solve the final paper. So you different platform you should do. And the other thing is that you review those paper and then you find your mistakes. The sixth and most important point is, I feel, is this is at this stage you should not be disheartened by your GT scores. You score 60%, you should score 50%. Your main motto to give your GTs is to know your weak points. It is not to get your scores. So it is not sure that in this paper when you get score 60%, you are going to score it 60% in your final paper also. So what your aim by solving multiple papers is that you get that 40% wrong answers, and you get an idea where you should be working in those every day. So you get those mini targets in those 3 days. So what I used to do is every 3 day on the last 1 month I used to solve a GT. So I used to get topics. I used to try topics in NAT physio which I was weak at, and I used to read those topics. I found it very difficult during the second or third postponement of the exam to read again and again those notes. So GT was one of my source to find out my difficult part and to read them. So it was more targeting. It was more easier and more interesting to read in that way. So it is very important. Focus on your improvement. Focus on your part. If you are very finding it difficult for the factual part, stick them on your own walls and read them again and again, because those factual points which are there are clear cut indications that if you improve these, your score is going to improve. And the last and the most important point which I found it very easy was marrow pulse. So if you see marrow pulse, you'll have 1500-1600 pulse or whatever. So during the marrow pulse, you have tables and flowcharts from good sources of the books, which usually there are these books are sources for the question in your final exam also. So for example, Harrison tables and all in medicine. So I feel that this 1 month you should go and have a single look at your marrow pulse, so that you feel that you have gone through a lot, almost overall syllabus of your medicine OBGYN. And what you should do is you have bookmarks. So your blue bookmarks are for topics which you know they are important, but you are going to eventually remove them because, for example, anti-alchemy antibodies or hepatitis B, C. So when you read them once or twice, and when you know that you are sure and you have retained them, you remove them. So star mark those pearls which are very important, and they come now and then, and you are finding it very difficult. For example, those microconidia, macroconidia, microsporum, and those fungi, those tables, or non-tuberculous microbacterium, and these tables which you find it very difficult to learn. But this is one of the sure shot questions, or they might come, and if you don't remember it, you will lose marks. So this should be done. And the other new point which are there, I think you should not focus more. It is good to keep an eye on them, but the probability that they will come is less. So just have a glance or look at them once, but the main priority should be those your blue bookmarks and your star bookmarks, your red star bookmarks, which should be focused on. So I think this is you have got a good idea about what you should do and what you should not do. If you feel that there are any other doubts regarding preparation of NEET PG during this 1.5 month, you can put into comments. I'll be very happy to reply them. Thank you.